The Grammy nominees are upon us once again. They got announced a while ago, but I'm just going to talk about it now because I've been doing other things and also literally who cares? Does anybody care? Does anyone care at all? I just don't know. I don't think anybody cares. The first category we're going to talk about is, of course, Record of the Year. I'm looking at the Pitchfork compilation of the nominations. And you're going to see a lot of really good songs on here. But to me, it's not even close. Like, my pick is very obviously Now and Then by the Beatles, which was actually released in 2023. But it's included here. I guess it was released late enough in 2023 to be included in the 2024 nominations. Just by a mile, it needs to win. It's way better than all these other songs. Sorry. And this might be the best collection of albums nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys ever. Usually they just go for popular music, and a lot of these albums were kind of popular, but these albums are actually good. I mean, the Beyonce record, the Billie Eilish album was amazing. Brat is fantastic. The Sabrina Carpenter album was good, and then Taylor Swift. But my choice here, it's a little bit close between the Billie Eilish and the Charlie, but I am going to have to go with Brat. Brat should win. Brat is awesome. Brat Summer confirmed. And Song of the Year? Song of the Year is more of a toss-up. I definitely, I like Fortnite. I like Please, Please, Please. I like Die With a Smile. I like Not Like Us. I like Texas Hold'em. Like, it's just, I'm not familiar with the Chappelle Roan song because I just haven't gotten into Chappelle Roan. I've just never given her the time of day. I guess that's my bad. That's the only song in this category I'm not familiar with. But these are like all good songs. I don't dislike any of them. I'm going to go with A Bar Song because that song is a banger and it would be fun to see Shaboozey get a Grammy, this new artist. It'd be kind of exciting. It'd be fun. Like I said, I'm gonna go with Shaboozey. Best New Artist traditionally is a category that I feel like people don't care about, even though it's one of the big four. And I don't think there's any names in here that are going to get people really excited besides Chappelle Roan. Like, that seems like the really obvious choice to give the award to. Doechii also had a good year. And I feel like with the Fantano endorsement and other people kind of being like, yeah, this artist is really cool. And I've seen her come up on other lists and other people talking about her. And I listened to the album for the first time, Alligator Bites Never Heal, and it was good. So it would be cool to see it go to her. But I'm rooting for Shaboozey. Once again, dude, out of these big four categories, I want Shaboozey to get two of them. I think it would be exciting to see, a black country artist be at the top, get Best New Artist. I think, country music could get more love from the Grammys, even though I haven't enjoyed country music until very recently. It would be cool to see him win in this category. Definitely rooting for him above Chappelle Roan, even though, once again, my judgment of Chappelle Roan and her music, it's based on like one song that I've heard. I don't even remember what song it was, but I really didn't like it at all, so I'm just kind of a hater, I guess. Best Pop Vocal Album is a weirdly strong category this year. Once again, Chappelle Roan. I sound like a broken record. I didn't listen to the album. That's the only one I'm not familiar with. But out of these, I absolutely am going Billie Eilish. I don't think it's a close race. I like Tortured Poets Department, unlike most people. Of course, the Sabrina Carpenter album was good. And Eternal Sunshine was good too. But I'm definitely going with Billie Eilish in this category. My ignorance in the world of music is revealed when I look at the Best Dance or Electronic Music Album. I did have a dance/electronic album in my top 10, of course, with Alexander's Radio Experiment. I love that. No Porter Robinson, again. I don't know if he's ever going to get nominated for a Grammy at this point. So sad that he's not mentioned here. I don't know any of these albums besides the Charlie XCX album, and that is weird to me that that's included in dance electronic. I would absolutely call that pop music. I know there's electronic music and hyper pop influence or whatever, but I would just call it pop music. But it's easily my choice in this category because I haven't listened to any of the other albums. I am familiar and with about more than half of the albums nominated for Best Rock Album. And it's a little bit tricky, like it's a bit of a toss-up. You could give it to Jack White, and that would be cool. The Pearl Jam album wasn't bad, I guess. The Spontaneous DC album was good. But I'm going to give it to Green Day. I think it'd be cool if Green Day wins. They made it kind of what I see as kind of a legacy sequel of an album that sounds like their older stuff and kind of goes away from the new direction they were heading in. Just feels very classic Green Day. It's very satisfying to listen to. I haven't listened to it much this year, but it's a great album, and it'd be cool to see Green Day get it. I am familiar with all of the albums nominated for Best Alternative Music Album except for the Clairo album, which I heard was very good. Clairo is one of those artists like Chappelle Roan where I just haven't given her the time of day. I haven't like committed to listening to her work. But I am going to go with the Nick Cave album. I was shocked when I saw the nomination. This and Brat were the most pleasant surprises to come up, because for some reason I wasn't even expecting Brat to get nominated for like album of the year. That was kind of shocking. But this Nick Cave album is really, really good, and people are really sleeping on it. I don't think it's going to win, but it would be cool to see a Nick Cave win in this category, because I really think Wild God is a great album. I think my true nature is coming through, because it's the female-led music that I'm not familiar with. Because in the best rap song category, I don't know what the song Yeah Glow is. I don't know that Glorilla song off the top of my head, and I don't know the Rhapsody song either. So out of these three, it's hard to say. It's a little bit hard to say. We have Carnival, Not Like Us, and Like That. And I'm going to go with Not Like Us. I think that is a much better diss track than Like That. And it's also just a better song in general. Like, I think musically, it's more appealing than Like That. So I'll go with Kendrick in this category. Not Like Us. I don't love that song. I don't love any of these songs, but I think it is better than Like That. And Best Rap Album, I actually did my research because I saw these nominations and I was like, I have only heard one of these albums. And it literally was the Metro Boomin album, We Don't Trust You. That's the only one I was familiar with. And I was pretty familiar with it, but I hadn't heard any of these other albums. And rap music is my favorite genre. And I thought, oh, this is a really weak batch when I saw the nomination list, because I hadn't heard any of these. But I checked them out, and they're all pretty solid. Even the Eminem record is pretty good. The Doechii record is pretty good. Not Like Us, of course. We Don't Trust You is pretty good. The J. Cole album is the only album that absolutely should lose. It is bad. It is a bad album. It's barely an album. It's just like a really loose mixtape. Does not deserve to win. Should be thrown out of here. Besides that, though, I think the best album in this category is the Common record. The Auditorium Volume 1 is really great stuff, and it would be cool to see him win, because he's been nominated like 6 times for Album of the Year, and this feels kind of like what they did with Nas. It feels like an appropriate time to just give him his Grammy. Just give him his love, because he deserves it with the career that he's put into the rap game, and just give it to Common. I have only heard 2 albums in the Best Alternative Jazz Album category, but I absolutely have to give a shout out to the Arooj Aftab album. It was in my top 10 albums. It's fantastic. It's the first one listed on the list of nominees. It's fantastic. It should win. It's probably not going to, because New Blue Sun by Andre 3000 was also nominated in Album of the Year category and also nominated in this category. So that's just a much more obvious choice, much more obvious pick to the Grammys, because that album received more love than the Arooj Aftab. But I had to shout it out because it's one of the best albums of the year, and I don't want people to sleep on it. Best Country Song is a weird category. There's no Zach Bryan listed, which is just really odd. No 28 mention. Very strange. But also, I'm actually, weirdly, I'm more familiar. I know more songs from this. I think I've heard every single one of these songs. I don't remember the Jelly Roll song, but I don't think the album was memorable at all. So that's why. But I've heard all of these songs, and I'm familiar with them. Pretty freaking familiar with these songs. So what I'm going to say is Shaboozey. Again, and it's weird that I'm not going with Casey Musgraves, because that was my favorite country music album of the year. But like, this is not a good choice from the album. I would dare say it's one of the worst. This and Anime Eyes are like the worst songs on the album, and it's sad that they nominated the Architect, because otherwise I'd be rooting for Casey Musgraves. But once again, Shaboozey sweep at the Grammys this year, man. I'm going with Shaboozey. And the very last category that I have any interest in remotely is the Best Country Album placement. And I did not hear the Lainey Wilson. I have not listened to the Post Malone album. I'm not even familiar with the Chris Stapleton. I know two of these albums, and that is the Beyonce, and that is Casey Musgraves. And I know that's a really tough battle, especially given that Beyonce has many Grammys, and she still has not won Album of the Year. But I am going to go with Casey Musgraves. I think these are great country albums. The Beyonce album was an honorable mention for me for the best albums of the year, but I am going with Casey Musgraves. Deeper Well is my favorite country album of the year. Once again, I have to say, the Zach Bryan snubs, what is going on? Like, he's huge. He's a big deal. And he's really, really beloved. He has an earnest fan base. Music critics like him. Regular people like him. And just no mention. I'm like, what is that? Is there some reason why he's not getting nominated for Album of the Year? Maybe there's something I'm missing, but let me know if you know the reason for that. And that's it. I think this is a really great year for nominations. I think this is a really great year for the Grammys. It feels like it's really hard for them to miss. Like, I'd be pretty impressed if, like, when the actual winners are announced, because, and this is what I've seen in the last couple years, and what I would say generally going over the Grammy nominated albums is that the nominations are usually very poor at the Grammys. Like, they usually miss the target with the nominations. And then the actual albums that win are the best albums that are nominated. Usually the nominees, are usually misses. But then the ones they pick out of those nominees, they do a good job. And so, I don't know, man. Album of the Year feels like there's a lot of heavy hitters in there. And it's gonna be really, really tough. Like, Taylor Swift has the Taylor Swift factor, but then Beyonce is also once again going up against Taylor Swift, just lost consistently, and it feels like the Grammys need to right their wrongs and they need to give Beyonce a win. So maybe they will. That's not even my choice. I mean, my picks are Billie Eilish, who's had a lot of power at the Grammys, and then Brat, which I don't know if it's gonna win. I don't know if it's gonna win anything other than Best Dance Album or whatever, but if Brat won, that would be the coolest thing ever. That would be really exciting. That'd be a really, really fun moment for the music nerd community. But yeah, Brat Summer 2024. That's my takeaway from this. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you share your more in-depth, more interesting, more insightful thoughts on these nominees. I personally liked them. I think it's a great year for nominations. The Porter Robinson and Zach Bryan snub, that's all I'm going to say. Peace out.